And we're live. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance, everybody. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments that I shouldn't chew on camera, which I understand it probably grosses some of you out. And when I do my videos going forward, I will not dip tobacco when I go live. But for a live stream, I cannot wait 2 or 3 hours and go without that sweet nectar in my mouth. So you're going to have to deal with it on the live streams. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. I got my two favorite guests who you should subscribe to, Jay Naugy, the old man in the paperboy hat, and Investing Sucks, a young Canadian man that likes meme stocks. And what are you investing in now? GameStop, Occupy?
Yeah. So I've actually completely shifted my investment strategy. Like I said, I'm just focusing on unsecured debt and commercial papers, going for about a 2% return annually. So that's it, man. Just commercial papers to the moon, and we'll see where we go.
You'll be able to retire in like 2,000 years.
Apparently, I'm a FUD douchebag now. We're going through bio-nanos.
Yeah, we're
report
apparently if you go through the risk section on a 10K, that counts as spreading FUD.
Yeah,
I also go ahead.
The dude also, he's like, you read terribly, and I'm like, well, your grammar's atrocious. But my excuse was it was small lettering, and I was drinking when I was reading it.
Yeah, I didn't know what FUD meant for the longest time. I was like, what is this garbage? And then I saw that in like one of the investing books I was reading, and I finally figured out what it was. But it's just kind of funny because, Kevin always says FUD all the time, and we don't have to talk about him too much right now. But, he's one that's always spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt with all those stupid thumbnails and all the crap he pumps.
I think that we're in the rarefied air of everything money. In one of the few, there's also this other dude that I like. He does enterprise value like you do, Eric. He does that, and he does intrinsic value, discounted cash flows. But we're the few people being like, dude, the market's stupid right now. Why would you be buying anything? I also ran the numbers that Microsoft, whatever its PE ratio is now, if it returns to the historic norms of 15, which it's been at 15 PE ratio before, it's worth about $110. So, apparently we're FUDs. Because smart investing is me just diamond handing shit investments till I go broke.
Well, yeah, haven't you seen Keenan Grace's videos? I just did a video about him. He's pumping Riot Blockchain, AMC, and this company called Atosa Therapeutics. It literally has zero revenues for the past 5 years.
Did you look up? Did you also look at the dilution?
Yeah, I went on Yahoo Finance to get like a quick summary of these stonks that he was pumping, and but they're all unprofitable and they're all diluting their shareholders. It's almost like there's a trend.
Well, somebody told me I was a moron because they're like, they have X amount of cash in the bank, and I go, yeah, from diluting their shares. And like, did you not pay attention to the part where I read in there where they're just burning through cash and they're going to have to issue more shares?
Yeah, that's something I've started like doing in my videos. Like I started doing I've mainly been covering like Canadian stocks, right? Trying to appeal to the home country here. But I've started showing like the effective dilution and be like, okay, what if, say they issue like 10 million more shares than they have now, or 20 million more shares? What does that actually do to your return, right? Because you can project a future market cap, and you can use like a multiple of earnings approach. You can use a discounted cash flow, and it's always based on assumptions. But then you have to split that market cap based on how many shares they have. And if the company's issuing more shares, like they're making acquisitions, they need to raise capital to fund losses, then you gotta you gotta show how that actually affects returns.
It's pretty easy to see when a company has to issue shares. I mean, if you look at their operating cash flow and it's negative, that's almost guaranteed they're going to either issue shares or go into more debt. It's really not that hard. You just have to look at a couple of the financial statements, know where to look, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's definitely I've started going through like financial statements in my videos. It's not as exciting as just talking about, upside potential and growth catalysts, tailwinds as they're called now.
Is there an emoji for that?
There probably will be soon.
Probably like a fart cloud or something.
Dude, I've learned apparently doing your due diligence is watching hype videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've had tons of comments like, "There's no DD, bro. You don't do any DD." It's like I literally looked at the financial statements. How is that not DD? I'm not understanding. I'm not computing, ladies and gentlemen. Bro. That's
dude, it's another thing. It's what I said in that Invest with Henry video when he reads off the medical jargon. I go, you don't understand that any more than I understand it. Stick to your circle of competence. Like, you don't. Like, I don't have an advanced medical degree. I don't know what that jargon you're using means.
I mean, you don't even have to know the jargon. It's like, look at this financial statements. It's all about profitability. If it's not profitable, screw it. You should immediately discount that company. And then, maybe in the future when it is profitable, then you can maybe see if there's a good time to buy it.
Well, this is the way I look at it. If I was in the market for individual stocks, which I'm not really right now because the market's just too crazy. But on just share dilution and negative cash flow, I'm out. Why would I even go any further than that? Call me when you're profitable.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully people are watching my videos to the point where I get to the financial statements because it's like, okay, I look at the same freaking things every time. And once you learn where to look, if you want to immediately discount a company or not. It doesn't take that long. It takes me 2 minutes or less to look at a company to see if I want to invest in it.
And, when this is just for I don't even know if there's anybody watching, but if you really want a quick way, if you're interested in a company and it's just preliminary to see if you can go further, all you need to do is multiply a reasonable PE ratio, which would be what you want the return to be. So you can just find a chart and see where a PE ratio is. And then if you just multiply it by earnings per share, you can kind of see if it's trading below or above intrinsic value. Exactly like I said with Microsoft. It normally trades at about a 14 to 16 PE. Multiply that times earnings per share. When I did that on everything money's calculations, I was actually only off by $10.
Yeah, and even his calculations, like everybody's going to get a different number because everybody wants a different return. Everybody has different assumptions, which is why I'm not a huge fan of like forecasting because I think it's all a bunch of voodoo and junk science. I mean, yeah, you can have like margin of safety and all that. But I mean, to start off, I just look for if the company is very profitable and they have growing profits. And then once I see a reasonable PE ratio, that's probably what really cues me in.
Yeah, because it's like even Amazon right now. I have no doubts Amazon is one of the best companies around. And it's like they pointed out in Everything Money, Amazon is disruption. You're investing in disruption when you buy Amazon. But trading at a 70 or 60 PE ratio, I'm just not interested.
Yeah, Amazon's always had like a super high PE ratio. That's like the one example that basically if you're investing in any company that you have like growth projections for, you can just compare them to Amazon and basically say, well, Amazon did this, so therefore this company also has a chance because it's not too out of the picture, right? Which a lot of people compare that, like they use baseball analogies and they say, comparing every company to Amazon is like comparing every player in the minor leagues to Mike Trout, because you say they have the potential to reach there.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, you can just pick a reasonable number. It doesn't even have to be 99. It's 95. I'm still out. Even if it was 90%, I'm like, I'm just not going to take those odds on things that are out of my control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the COVID crash is probably one of the good places where you could have actually bought into it. But I don't really foresee, I mean, you never know. I don't really foresee any kind of massive correction in Amazon anytime soon where you could buy back in. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe interest rates will spiral out of control, but I've never seen a good time to really buy Amazon.
Yeah, and it's also like, why? I got a 60% return on my growth index fund.
Yeah, you probably have Amazon in your index funds.
And all I did was buy an index fund. Like my portfolio on M1 Finance is up by 50%. And I have a portfolio in there that I used a random number generator to pick stocks on. Does it seem reasonable to anybody?
Yes. I mean, stocks go up 50% every year, bro. That's just how it is. I mean, that's how fast our economies are growing. 50%. It's the dawn of a new era.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's like that's why I want to do that video where I'm going to do a video when I get to it where I do like reasonable projections for Tesla that are going to draw and hate, and then I do the YouTube stonk boy projection where Tesla grows 50% per year in perpetuity forever, and it becomes the entire world market, and we all just buy our stuff from Tesla.
Dude, the funniest thing I found, I did a video on Virgin Galactic, and
oh, dude, I started watching yours too, Eric, but I got distracted yesterday.
They were like, "Oh, in 2030, the space travel industry is going to be $3 billion." And then you look at the market cap of Virgin Galactic, which has competitors. Their market cap is $14 billion, and they're saying in 9 years the total space industry is going to have a market value of $3 billion. So, where do you think Virgin Galactic is going to go from here, ladies and gentlemen?
Is that all it is, though? Is it just like space travel?
I mean, yeah, I didn't really look super into it, but basically they build their own rocket. They have this like facility where they launch them from, and I think they built their own booster, and they basically just fly rich people into space so they can screw off and float around for a little bit. But they have competitors with what is it? Not Blue Origin with Jeff Bezos and SpaceX. I mean, so if you split, even if they get a third each of the market share, that's $1 billion each per company, which is not $14 billion.
And I don't honestly understand where they're pulling that $3 billion projection out because, okay, so we haven't found one of the TikTok space probes yet and learned how to back engineer it. So when you're going to space, you have fixed fuel costs that you can't do anything about. And so I think they're projecting it's going to be $180,000 per flight. There's only so many people that have the money and are willing to do it. And how many times are they going to do it? Are they going to go to space once a week?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Just keep going back and forth. But I mean, like, isn't SpaceX going to have like electric rocket launchers or something?
Elon Musk covered that on Rogan's podcast. People don't listen carefully. He actually talked about how the physics on why you're not going to have an electric plane anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, that was a joke. I don't think they're going to launch into space anytime soon with electric motors or rockets. But then I don't know crap about the technology. I just know that if you're going to have a $3 billion market cap estimated in 10 years, one company with 14 is just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's like the huge unknown with that whole thing is like how many people can actually do it, right? Because, and what would the margins be on like a service like that where you just send people into space? Because the cost of sending someone into space, especially if it's someone who like is just doing it for tourist purposes and isn't like, they don't know how to operate anything, like I'd imagine it'd be way higher. So you're gonna have to charge them like an insane amount of money. And all like, I don't know if there's any like actual utility that they're planning on like having people go to space towards, or if it's just like an entertainment thing, which I'm pretty sure it is, right? It's just like you go up there for a little bit, you just kind of, you know, you look around, you look at the earth, take pictures, and then come down. I mean, yeah, like that just seems like highly speculative, like to have a $14 billion company based on that.
Yeah, well, they haven't launched any customers yet. They have these advanced deposits from like 600 people, but they're refundable. So if anything goes wrong, those people can just yank their money back, and that company's
deferred revenue.
You honestly think that the government's going to let people go to space and then come back with pictures of a flat Earth?
You know, I didn't think of
that round Earth thing.
You're
trying to keep that flat Earth thing under wraps, man.
It's like every rocket we seem to launch blows up from a government missile. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, dude. Like I just there's so much speculation just running rampant everywhere. It's like I didn't even know what a SPAC was till like last year. Like, what's a SPAC? Special acquisition. What do you do? I give you money and you just go buy a company? Why would I do that?
Yeah, I'd heard of them like a while ago, but I thought they were just like a super, super niche thing that like only happened in like very specific cases. But now it's like like more companies that I realized were SPACs. Like I didn't know DraftKings was a SPAC. And what else was there? Like, what are the other big SPACs?
Crap. I did a couple. It seems like every stock I've done a video on is a SPAC. So just go through my list. But like Virgin Galactic was a SPAC. DraftKings, crap. I'm drawing a blank, but like you're right. There's a ton of freaking SPACs out there. So like that's just like you're basically trusting some stupid manager to pick a company to bring it public. Lucid, they're trying to be brought public by what's a freaking SPAC called? Churchill Capital. That's another one.
Was Lordstown? Was that hot trash company?
I think that was a SPAC too.
Yeah, dude.
Everything's a SPAC, bro.
Dude, I'm gonna do a react to this guy's video where he's like calling out Lordstown, and he's saying it's a fraud, and he makes really good points in the video. And this is the best part. The CEO's getting interviewed on air, and he's talking about the deliveries that he expects to make, and he's doing this the whole time. He goes, yeah, and we're gonna have 200,000 orders by this time, and he's just shaking his head no. And I'm like, okay, now I know you're just straight lying, dude.
Yeah, well, they had an initial production target for Lordstown of like 2,200 by the end of this year. And then, of course, they slashed it down to 1,000. And, that's probably BS, too. So that company's a freaking disaster.
I got called a moron on that, too, because I talked about the Ford Lightning and the electric Bronco coming to market next year. And the guy's like, they've already beaten them to the market. And I go, you're so
like a few hundred.
They've already beat them into the Bitcoin market. Tesla has, at least, because they get all their profits from Bitcoin and carbon credits. Actually, y'all need to see this article real quick. This is going to prove to you that we're in a freaking bubble right now.
What, are you talking about the massive leverage that's in the market?
Yeah, can y'all see this? The majority of millennial and Gen Z investors are taking personal loans or borrowing from friends and family to invest in stocks.
But see, I see things like this, and like just anecdotally, I don't know anyone my age who's doing this. Like all my friends who are investing are just like investing kind of their own money. So like when I see stuff like this about leverage, like obviously I'm just one guy, but I'm always like, how is this true? Like why are people doing this? And it's the same thing in Canada too. Like margin debt is quite high here as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's more anecdotal. Like, I don't know anybody that invests in margin either. But then again, a lot of my friends don't invest. But I can totally see, like, if you're on Robinhood, they make it pretty easy to access margin. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially if you're an inexperienced investor and you think you can just get rich quick, that I wouldn't be surprised that you would take out margin. I mean, according to this, 80% of Gen Z and 60% of millennials surveyed said they took on debt. I don't know if they had bad sampling, but even if these were cut in half, that's pretty alarming,
I read somewhere that there's 20 to 25% leverage in the markets.
Yeah, it's freaking bad. I mean, you fast the markets have shot up. Like, there's freaking leverage.
Our boy Meet Kevin takes on leverage.
Yeah, he's a moron. I mean, didn't he? So somebody's like posting comments, and we'll go to comments in a second. But somebody said he's lost like millions of dollars on Tesla options. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't.
I guarantee you he has. I guarantee you. I'm not even the least bit skeptical of that. And it's like I think you pointed out, this douchebag can afford to lose his money, and that's the entire problem. It's people that are in their 40s that don't know anything about investing and saved a nice little chunk of money. They're screwed when this whole thing goes sideways, and he's going to be fine, and he's probably still going to have people buying his stupid courses. He's probably going to still be running for governor of California or whatever dumb stuff he's up to.
President of America.
What if we have the three of us jailed?
Hey, I'm fine. I'm out of the jurisdiction, man.
Don't underestimate the long arm of the government's the law enforcement, because United States will extradite somebody to Canada real quick.
But my theory is I'm going to be assassinated by one of Meet Kevin's like fanatic fans. So I already took out life insurance now that my kid's born. I just want to make sure my family's covered before a bullet goes into my head and blows my brains out from.
Is it whole life insurance?
Yeah, whole life, 100% whole life, bro. It's the best insurance you can get, you know?
Dude, I think when this market crashes, there's going to be a Jonestown style Kool-Aid drinking contest by Meet Kevin's fans.
Dude, you know, when the market crashes, yeah, like this may make me sound like a dick, but I'm gonna laugh and just like rub it in people's faces, especially the people that were like commenting on my channel, like "You're stupid, you're a boomer, you're a virgin, whatever." If they lose all their money and their whole life gets destroyed, I'm gonna freaking laugh because I hate
what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is go to the comment section and like just pick people from my videos and go, "You were saying something."
This account no longer exists.
You got to take names, man. You gotta look at like certain videos that people are putting out about stocks, and then 6 months from now, you got to hold them accountable. Like, be like, oh, what you said didn't come true.
Yeah, dude, I agree. Like, I think like you said in your most recent video, Chris, the SEC is going to take some butt on this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, dude, the SEC is going to, I think there's a lot of people, man, I think there are a lot of people are doing pump and dump, dude. And I think the SEC is going to take notice of this because there's going to be a lot of complaints from people where they're going, I invested in what this guy said, and like 60% of my portfolio went bankrupt.
Imagine if we were the only ones that got cracked down by the SEC and they leave everybody else alone. Did you hear that strong man? He was telling people that they should buy index funds and tax advantage accounts. And you see me just getting like carted away, getting like beat.
I'm getting dragged out of my house with my pants around my leg because of the fact that I didn't lose any money and I was 100% correct. And they're like,
probably do it simultaneously. They'll know when we're live streaming and they'll burst in our windows all at once and take us away.
Yeah, you can't schedule the live streams anymore. We just got to do them on the fly.
Yeah, random times.
Like John McAfee, like, hey, we're live streaming from this place. I'll be gone in an hour. Dude, I was thinking about this today. I was like reading the article about like the frothiness of the market, and what came to my head is I was like, this entire market is going to crash like a condo in Miami.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, dude, there's people going to jail for that. I guess engineers warned that the pool was leaking and it was undermining the foundation in 2018. There you go. How does that relate to investing? Know what you're buying because somebody owned them.
No, was there a collapse or something? I think I read something about it, like a condo
collapsed.
Jesus.
But if you own a condo, aren't like the condo owners responsible for like ensuring that like any renovations are done, or is it up to the building owners itself?
See, that's going to be different because the pool leaked. So any individual condo owner wouldn't be responsible for that. But the owner, if this is true, this is just what I read quickly, said that that building was warned that the pool was leaking and undermining the foundation.
But it's still like the condo owners that would own like the pool part, right? Isn't that how it works? Or is it like
don't quote me on that, but I'm assuming that the company that owns the entire building is getting sued for a massive amount of money, and that some people might be in federal pound me in the ass prison.
You guys like my thumbnails with the big prisoner with the Astroglide?
Yeah, Chris, your titles you're getting a little carried away with your video titles lately.
Yeah, I'm worried that if I ever get like 1,000 subscribers and YouTube like reviews my channel, they're gonna be like, Mr. Bell, this is a little extreme.
See, I don't care about that right now. Cause like if it gets me to the dance, I can dial it back 10% and then just put up stand-up comedy bits where I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, or we can start a Discord. I mean, I think we should. Like a Bogleheads Discord, and we charge people like $1,000 a week.
$1,000 a day to listen to us talk, but we only post once a week.
What am I gonna buy today, ladies and gentlemen?
With your money.
My new hottest stock, VT.
Dude, you should do that as an like for a video. You should do it. New hot stock VT.
Yeah, and then like 10 years later, it's like updated on the newest hot stock. Guess what?
VT.
It's still VT.
I was actually gonna have like a Star Wars theme where I titled the video "The Stock That Crushes the Market," and it just plays the Star Wars theme, and it just shows VT over and over and over.
What was I had an idea where I was like exchanging banter with Star Wars characters, just taking random clips where I'm explaining investing, and like I don't know what I would do with it. I probably won't do it. But I think I told you guys I had the idea for me calling the Emperor an idiot on the second Death Star, and me talking about how now I have to issue government bonds to pay for it, and he got the last one blown up. Like, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, you're a moron. One vent blows up the entire thing. A farm boy blows up your stupid Death Star. And now I got to issue trillions in bonds to cover this.
That's why you got to start issuing stocks, dude. Okay? Because then you don't have to go into debt, but you can just dilute the current shareholders of the Death Star.
Well, I thought that like having him shoot me with force lightning, and I'm like, I do a YouTube channel on value investing Boglehead. Do you know how much hate from the internet has flown through me? Your force lightning is nothing.
It only makes you stronger. All right, we got some comments here. Let's get to them. B. Kevin is distracting his fans with governor videos because he lost millions gambling in Tesla.
Hey, screw college. I forgot to like and comment on one of your comments. I just remembered it now. So don't think I was ignoring you.
You're a terrible person.
I know.
More like meat, Kevin, when he has to. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Are you concerned about getting sued by me, Kevin, for slander? Be careful. He could be watching. He actually is watching, or he at least watched one of my videos. But
he's watching right now for sure.
Yeah,
dude.
Come on, Kevin. Comment, bro.
Dude, he couldn't sue us for this reason. Like, we're giving our opinions, and then if I went into court, I'd be like, it's parody.
Well, no, on top of it, you're telling the truth. I don't think you can be sued for slander. I mean, you can be like, if you make up something and it hurts their business, then you could potentially be sued for damages. But if you're telling the truth, what's his case?
The judge would be like, Mr. Naugy, were you talking about him jerking off truckers? Like, yeah, that's what he should be doing. He's giving terrible investment advice. And then I'll be like, Your Honor, I want to meet Kevin's portfolio into evidence that he is, in fact, a douchebag and a moron. And the judge would probably be like,
I'm a Tesla investor. The judge is probably like a massive Tesla investor. Thanks, guys. I think what you do is important. I know nobody listens, but we'll be right. You'll see.
It's called red pill investing now. Red pill
investing.
Yeah, that video kind of flopped, but whatever.
No, dude. If you have like, this is the most important thing to remember. It's just time in the market. So if you have like your 401k or whatever you have in a tax advantaged account where it should be, it's impossible to time the market. We know the market's frothy, right? But we don't know when it's going to break. That's impossible to predict. So it could go up more and then just fall. So my thing is, leave what you have in the market. And if you're looking at something and you think it's too expensive, sideline some cash to buy a dip. But just proceed like you would throughout your life. Just keep maxing your tax advantaged accounts. You're just riding the dips up.
Yeah, and what helps me is it's like, okay, the market crashes. I don't know how old you are, Andy, but I'm 31. I'm probably not going to sell stocks, maybe never. So if it crashes next year, I don't care because I'm just buying every month consistently, dollar cost averaging. The market crashes. Eventually, I think in 30 or 40 years, it'll probably be higher than where it is right now. So that helps me, feel more reassured. And then on top of that, I have international diversification. So if the U.S. market takes a dump, well, 45% of my portfolio is in international stocks. So
Yeah.
that's just something to consider.
Yeah, I like the international idea, because like one thing I was reading about recently was the whole Japan thing, because their index is like called the Nikkei or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce it. But they had like a similarly like frothy market. I think it was in the 1980s, where there was a lot of like QE and super low interest rates, and like their market index as a whole hasn't even like recovered to that point. So I mean, I think people kind of see that and they get a little scared, because you could draw some similarities. But yeah, like international exposure is definitely a good thing. Like, I mean, like for me, I'm not worried, because like when I have index funds, I have total Canadian stock market index funds, and like the average PE of those is like significantly lower than the S&P 500. Like there's the Schiller index or whatever, right? Which is like 30, 35 something right now. Like the average PE in the index fund I'm in Canada is only like 17. So I don't see it as like that overvalued.
Yeah, I mean, anything international is better than U.S. right now. I think the U.S. stock market is a freaking disaster.
Well, I read an article today where they said expect a negative 7% return over the next 7 or 8 years.
Is that total or compounded every year?
I don't remember. I know it was. I think it was on Market Watch.
See, one thing you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is like I push VT. I mean, you don't have to buy it, whatever, but even VT can be flat or negative for years and years and years. But what distinguishes a good investor is you stick to your plan and you keep buying no matter what. So you own more and more of the world, because the whole point of buying the world is that you believe in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, the world is going to be more wealthy and companies are going to generate more cash flows. That's what you're doing. But you're not going to see instant returns, and you could see long periods of negative returns. That doesn't mean your plan sucks.
Yeah, you gotta. It's called chasing gains, and Paul knows more about investing than I do. I just flat admit it. But one thing he says is you have your own process and you just stick to it. The three of us have the process of we're going to max our tax advantaged accounts in index funds. And if you see something that could crush for you, why not throw a little bit of money at it? But individual stocks I would buy individual stocks I'd buy right now. The only place I know to look is to go to the magic formula and look at the stocks that they pick for you.
Yeah, I have positions in like 4 individual stocks. I mean, I have like Baba, a little bit in Baidu, just because Finn Carlin said. I was like, whatever, I'll put some money into it. But Baba, like I actually like Baba. Lincoln Educational Services, I just like the mission, and their fundamentals were kind of attractive. And then the last ones, I put a little bit of money in VYM and Robinhood just to kind of like park it there. But so yeah, I have 3 individual stocks, but at the end of the day, even if they all go to 0, it's like whatever, small percentage of my portfolio.
Well, I want to start once everything's maxed out. I want to start crushing VYMI.
That's not a bad play. I mean, like it's like the opposite of US. It's like US is all about large cap growth, in VYMI. Well, I guess they're large cap as well, but it's like international value. So it's almost like the exact opposite of what all the clowns are buying right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this. So when the US stock market, it comes and it crashes, right? And then, or it stays flat for a decade. All these hype YouTubers are going to be running overseas and bringing you hype stocks over there that are growing at 1,000x, right? That's the wrong place to be. The right place to be is to be crushing the U.S. market. You want to go where other people aren't.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to be patient, because you may be going where other people aren't for a long time. Like international. Like I've had international in my TSP ever since I've been investing, since 2011. International sucked like the last 10 years. But I'm still happy I have it, because I've been buying a lot of shares on the cheap. And if international ever outperforms, well, I'm going to see some delicious gains there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, ignore the, like, when you get a stock tip from somebody or you're getting it from a YouTuber, one of the first things you should ask yourself is this person a moron, and do they know anything about what they normally talk about? Because it's amazing. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that you'll spend 5 years looking at all the aspects of a car but somebody just approaches you and they go, hey man, my cousin's brother-in-law's former roommate's friend from the gym said Tesla is the next hot stock. Oh, I'm just going to go home and put $5,000 in it then.
I'm like taking a shower, I'm by myself, and this guy walks right up next to me. Hey, buddy, you hear about Tesla?
Yeah, dude. And then it's like some of these people that insult me on my channel. I'm like, you're calling me a moron, and yet you still don't understand you are and your.
I mean, I think it's hilarious. Like, obviously, they know they can't refute me because I look at the financials, but it's just hilarious. Like, I'll respond to their comments and they won't respond again. So it's all fun to me. I enjoy it. Last I checked, he was 800K in his
Loser.
It doesn't matter, bro. Buy the dip. Buy the option dip. Kevin's course members just come and go. You never see anyone stick around. Yeah, they all go broke just from buying the course itself. Isn't it like $700?
Dude, did you join?
No.
Not you.
I was like, no.
Wait, join what?
I know you didn't join.
See, he's talking to Seed Ward. Kevin's stunk like course he has. It's like $700. Seed Ward, if you have, keep posting comments. Yeah. Tell us about it. His entire Discord is filled with desperate people wanting to get rich. Yeah, see, the poorest people that are the most desperate and have the least amount of money, they are most susceptible to get rich quick schemes, which is why all these people that are living paycheck to paycheck, they're investing in crypto and meme stocks, okay? And they're the ones that are going to get hammered the most.
I have too much respect for like having to work for a living. I mean, I could sit up. I could have started a YouTube channel, right, where I just threw up hype. And I would have been handsomely rewarded with it now. But when I started looking at these guys, I said, this is immoral. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do what you're supposed to do. I'm going to take the hard road. I'm going to tell the truth. Like, and the truth is when somebody goes, but Warren Buffett says you only need 2 or 3 stocks, but you're not Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett, I don't agree with Warren Buffett. It's like,
I don't agree with him on that either. I don't agree with Charlie Munger on that. I'm not going to agree with like everybody. Well, I'm going to agree with you if you say index fund, 95% in index funds.
95, that's stupid. It's 96, bro.
Yeah.
You don't do anything.
But it's like, Warren Buffett, he's the greatest investor of all time. Maybe Joel Greenblatt is better. I don't know. You're not. You work a job. You have 40 hours that you have to devote, which isn't 40 hours because you got to get ready to go to work in commute times and all that. So how much time do you have to sit around devoting to actually doing due diligence, which is reading 10Ks and writing your own predictions out to where you think the stock is going to be? I personally have very little time to do that.
I'm on leave, so I have tons of time, but I still don't do it because I am too busy dumping on crappy YouTubers. Aaron, are you working or what's going on with you?
Yeah, so I was working. So I graduated end of 2020. I did like a contract job because like my actual job is like I start working at a like one of the large banks here in Canada, and they're like internal audit team. So I'm going to put my CPA degree to use. But I'm studying for the exam, which I have coming up in September. So my contract job ended a few weeks ago, so I'm just studying for that. And then once I write that, I work full time.
Cool.
That's why with your, I used you as I'm like, this is your due diligence. This is what due diligence is. It's not.
Yeah, those videos are awesome. Like, you actually like crunch the numbers and look at different scenarios. Like, that's what you should be doing. And even then, you don't even know because the future is unpredictable. I mean, even those numbers could all be wrong, even if you do the hottest of the hot DD. Yeah,
it's like there's so much guesswork involved in it. And like when I do, because like I've been using like pretty simple like valuation methods, right? Just like EV, EBITDA, right? So just what are the revenue? What kind of an EBITDA margin do they get? And then take like a multiple of that. And then I just use like historical averages for the multiple. Like I look back, it's pretty easy to find them. Like you just go on these like websites and they usually have them laid out. It's like, so for software as a service companies, last 10 years, EBITDA multiples usually like 19. So it's like, okay, just use that. And then you get like a relative valuation. And what I didn't realize when I was like making those videos is how long they were. Cause like the last one I made, when I finished it, it was almost like an hour long. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like how did I even talk that long? So I had to cut a lot of parts out because I'm like, 30 minutes is a lot of time to dedicate to one person. So,
bro, you need to cut it down so it can go on TikTok. You need like a 30 or 15-second video.
It's hot garbage. This is why.
This is maple syrup. This is delicious. To the moon.
How long does it take you to set? That's got to take hours to set up the Excel sheet.
Well, it's not like the Excel sheet isn't that complicated. What takes more time is like, because I'll like skim through the 10K a bit, just to like get an idea of like what the business is, like how they make money, what their costs are, where they're at, and kind of like their business's life cycle, like how long have they been profitable, are they profitable, how long they've been around, that type of stuff. And then I do some research on like the industry to like come up with like reasonable growth rate projections that are a little bit aggressive, because I don't want to be like too conservative, because then you got to be a little bit PC on YouTube, because there's people who've invested those companies that might watch, and you don't want to tick them off, right? But I don't make them like insanely aggressive.
Piss them off, man.
They need hard truths, not comforting lies.
No, it is.
Eric's the good cop. We're the bad cops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the point is, like, I still make it like a reasonable assumption that they could obtain, but it's not like overly aggressive. Like, I'm not saying, like 50% year over year. I'll be like, okay, maybe like in the coming years, it could be, like 50%, because that's like reasonable to assume where the business is at. Like in the past, they've grown at 50%. It's like fairly reasonable based on where they are to assume they could do that for like 1 or 2 years, but then like growth rates will taper off. They'll come down like to like 7% or so, which again is just like purely estimation. But the whole point of the valuation is say, look at these assumptions, look at what kind of a return you get based on those assumptions, and then decide if the assumptions are reasonable.
But that's boring, Eric. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video how you can, because everybody's doing like these hype things. I'm like, I want to do a video on how you can quickly eliminate a company.
Yeah. I always start with the balance sheet.
It's real easy for me. No PE ratio. I'm not interested.
Easy. You know how you eliminate a company, Jay? You skim YouTube, okay? That's how you instantly discount a company. Just put stock into the YouTube search bar. That's all you need.
Dude, I should just put, and my last and final step is to look at other YouTubers. Is it in Meet Kevin's portfolio? Okay, then I don't want to buy it.
What if Meet Kevin had VT? What would you do?
I would praise him for coming to the light side of the force.
Could you imagine? You know how epic that would be if we convince him to buy VT, which we all know that's never going to happen. But
no, his whole brand is like based on, his whole brand now like on YouTube is based on like being popular, right? Like he has to appeal to the masses, because that's how you grow on YouTube and that's how you make money, right? That's why like me personally, like if I ever reach a point where like I have enough like money from YouTube that it could be like a full-time job, I don't even think I would do it, just because I think having like YouTube as a full-time job based on like, because if you're giving out certain advice,
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you on this for this reason. There's a guy who has 200,000 subs and he does exactly what you do.
Ooh, Sven Carlin?
No, there's a different guy. Everything Money reviewed him, Paul, and he liked what he was saying. This guy does what you do, and then he does discounted cash flows on the side to get a second opinion. And he has 200,000 subscribers. Like, he's really good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't deny that like you could do it, but just for me personally, because I think if you are like on YouTube, then naturally your tendency is going to be to like appeal to the masses so you can get more views and get more money, right? Because if that's your full-time job, you're going to try to like make as much money as you can from it, right?
But once there's a correction, don't you think that there's going to be people that hunger for that kind of knowledge? I know a lot of people are going to exit, and you're going to be, all this hype is going to go away. Stocks are going to be evil. You can't make money in them, exactly like after exit. But I think if you get, like, I'm interested in that, watching you do that. So why wouldn't somebody else who's interested in the stock market?
Well, here's what I would say. I would say you should never have YouTube as your full-time job. You always want to have like diversified income stream. So like, you have your full-time job. Maybe you come and do one video a week. Maybe you have another side gig. You should have multiple streams of income, but never like, I would never plan on YouTube ever being your full-time job because that's just too risky, you know?
Yeah, because you are at the mercy of like the YouTube terms of service, right? Because like say there is like some SEC crackdown in the future and suddenly they don't look at monetizing personal finance and investing videos so favorably. It could happen, right? And if that's the type of videos you make, then like the amount of money you make in a year could instantly be cut like in half or like, you know, down 25%. So if that's your full-time income, like that's going to hurt.
Well, that's why I don't agree with people when they say that your channel should just be one thing. I'm like, why? Why can't I look at financials? Why can't I also read news articles and talk about how I feel about what's going on? Like,
yeah,
why does it have to be
the same thing? I mean, you're still in the realm of finance. You know, I think they're saying like if you talk about baseball, then you talk about, you know, hockey sticks or whatever. Like if you're so spread out that you're not even in the same category, that's probably where there's problems. But
dude, I was just gonna make a hockey stick video.
Really?
No.
Well, you're Canadian, dude. Aren't you guys born with ice skates?
Yeah, I was actually born on ice, man.
Did you ever see the video? A Canadian is birthed, and it's this guy coming out of like a frozen. It's a frozen lake, and he comes up out of the water, and he grabs like a Labatt's Blue, and he chugs it, and then he just runs off.
You know, I actually had like a conversation with like this was like many years ago when I was like in Mexico on like a trip, and I was like talking to some guy who was my age from like Alabama. I think I was like 15 or so, and I was like started kidding about Canada, and I was like, yeah, like I grew up on a maple syrup farm, and I also lived in an igloo for a while, and this guy was like genuinely believing me.
I love telling people fake stories and then they believe it.
Oh, especially if you're a veteran, dude, you can make up anything. I was a commando. I killed Bin Laden. Like whatever you want to say, people probably believe you.
I have a joke about that on stage where I go, yeah, and people ask me if I killed anyone, and I'm like, I tell them the story of my first kill, and then I start describing the plot to Predator.
All right, let's get through a couple more comments. The entire Miami Beach is sinking. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, no, I've heard that. Like, I mean, being that I'm over in Clearwater, I steer clear of Miami because I don't speak Spanish, but I've read that.
Whatever. Yeah, I thought about moving to Miami, but maybe I'll have to stay a little bit further north in Florida. No 10X stunks. VT after like, 90 years maybe? 100 years?
Bro, I would love to be in the enviable position of being able to predict which stocks would go up, but then I couldn't give that advice out anyways because everybody would flock to my channel and it wouldn't work anymore.
Well, that's the classic pump and dump, man. You just say the stock, everybody else buys it, and you cash out and become a millionaire. The association take care. Oh, she's probably talking about the condo collapse.
Yeah, so insurance is going.
Yeah, I hope they had insurance. I mean, they probably did.
It's terrible. I was joking about it, but it's terrible, man. I can't imagine. How there was tapping going on, and the tapping is ceased.
Tapping?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you talking about people like trapped on? Okay. Yeah, was
under
like 50 people that were trapped.
159 people are missing.
Jesus, that's ridiculous. Miami Beach is sinking. Been there for 30 years. All right, yeah, it's settled. I'm not moving to Miami. Oh, crap. So the Seek Ward guy, he said he did join Kevin's thing. So let's go through the rest of the comments, and then we'll see what he has to say. Strongman deserves many subscribers, as do my buddies here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I deserve the most because I'm Strongman, bro. But you got Jay Naugy, and then you got Investing Sucks. Check them out. When tech was crashing, Kevin was advising his followers to sell their Apple and pile.
Wow,
man.
What?
Kevin, you have a great overall return there, buddy-o.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me hear. Yeah, and he can't beat him.
Yeah, if you're a trash talking index funds, then you're trying to sell something.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the financial media. They try to trash what actually works so they can get your money and charge you crazy fees. Or like Kevin, sign up for a stupid course.
Grant Cardone is either a moron or he's just really shady after I watched your video on him.
When you just look at him, dude, like just look at the jet photos and the suits. You just know he's a scumbag just by looking at him. What do you do after your Roth IRA is maxed out? Well, I mean, you can just invest in a taxable account, but you want to invest in tax-efficient investments like index funds. So if you've maxed everything out, cool, and you still have money to invest, okay, throw some money in a taxable account, but avoid like dividend payers, REITs, bonds, stuff that's tax inefficient.
Especially REITs.
Yeah, REITs are bad for a taxable account.
They're good in a non-taxable account, but outside they're unqualified dividends. So they're taxed at ordinary income rates.
Yeah, I mean, you can still invest outside. I mean, I have money outside a taxable account. I mean, I was kind of stupid for doing it because I could have maxed my IRA. But if I had more money that I could save on top of what I'm doing, yeah, I'd probably put money in like VT, honestly, in Robinhood or something. Strong man, hello. How's it going, bro? So, yeah, this is him saying he joined the course. Worst mistake of his life. Come on, bro. I thought you were going to 10X. Didn't Kevin promise you that? They delete me. Did you sign up for Meet Kevin too?
They deleted your account probably because you said something bad about Kevin.
Right? Yeah. You can't insult the god of YouTube. Hello again. I have a secret to tell you. Ooh. What's your secret? We need to hear this. Post it in the comments. We'll get to it. Why is Meet Kevin so popular when he gives such bad advice?
Because it boils down to this. I say it all the time. It goes back to that meme that says comforting lies, and it's lined around the block, hard truths, and there's one person in line. That's why. Nobody wants to be told, how do I get rich in the stock market? About 40 years of investing. 30 years.
Boomer!
There's no magic sauce.
There's like 7 billion people on the earth, and we're all connected by the internet now. I mean, I have like subscribers, or you guys probably do, like all over the world.
Nigeria, man.
Yeah, like randomly. It's like, oh, cool. You're from India. You're watching my channel. That's cool. But
dude,
you can like,
huh? The guy from South Africa who hit me up, and he goes, "Yeah, Meet Kevin's a moron. I'm here in South Africa, and we're not even going to have a fully electric grid by 2030."
Yeah, but like the whole point is like if there's so many people connected in the world, even if like you piss off a certain amount because you have a crappy course, there's always a new flock of people that are going to come in and sign up for you. So you just keep the scam going because there's basically an infinite number of people that you can, almost bamboozle into buying your garbage. Because he chases trends and horse S is trendy, he will try to sell it to his members. Yes, he will. Oops. Seek Ward. Hello, friend. All right, let's see if we have any other interesting comments. Then we can just talk track. Jeez, there's so many comments.
I'll be right back.
I bought some Palantir, made a quick 30%.
Yeah.
Better sell out of it, buddy. I make all my based on Meet Kevin's suits. Does he wear like different suits? Is that like a thing in his channel where he like wears a different suit for like a different thing? If you bought, Churchill Capital, that's the company that's trying to bring a Lucid public via SPAC. It's freaking garbage. I don't think Lucid is even selling anything right now. My serious, I love your beautiful family, strong man. Oh, thank you very much. Now, I know I'm the most beautiful, but I also have a beautiful wife and a child.
Are you going to reveal strong boy personal finance on camera?
Yeah, well, I brought him in, and my wife was like, you need to take him upstairs, so I can, like, hang out. And then as soon as I bring him up here, he starts freaking crying. So it's like, just take him. He's not old enough where you can, like, he can't even support his own head. I have to, like, hold him like this and try to freaking talk at the same time.
He just feels the toxicness when he comes in.
Woo! Oh, my God, dude.
What did he tell you to buy, dude? Drop it in the comments. Jesus Christ. All right, Nog, did you have something about like a Tesla prediction or like did you do some
price prediction?
Oh, I mean,
not Tesla prediction. What's the price target?
I assumed earnings per share grew at 50% for the next decade, and then I used the historic PE ratio of 15, and I multiplied that out, and I got $587. So, I mean, that's just a quick estimate, and like I said, I used to check on to see if that was right. I actually used the same technique in Everything Money's prediction on or value for Microsoft was only like $10 off of my prediction. So
yeah, you can do quick napkin math. Like it doesn't take long to really come up with a prediction. It's all about how reasonable it is.
Yeah, and that's just EPS, right? So their earnings have to grow faster if they continue to issue shares.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you think the odds are? It's probably pretty good that there's gonna be more share dilution.
Well, yeah, because I haven't done the math on this, but from what I've heard, they're planning on opening up like a ton of factories, which if they want to reach like, hundreds of billions in revenue, like from their, like they have other businesses that they're apparently going to work on, like, insurance and batteries,
like
but
a restaurant.
Yeah, the super high margin restaurant business, but like just cars alone, like, like just cars alone, you need funding to open up like factories, build them, start making the cars.
You can't even get a Tesla right now. When they're talking about the orders they're going to fulfill, like they said that on Everything Money, they said 4 months to test drive a Tesla.
Well, is that because there's massive demand or because they just can't produce the cars? Like what?
It's got to be a
combination, right?
It's got to be both. And I mean, for the people out there that you're looking at Tesla, maybe Tesla was a good buy for you when it was $180 a share. That's a decision you have to make whether it belongs in your portfolio, because this is a mistake people keep making. Is this stock good? Is this stock good for you? How does it fit your portfolio and your idea of where you want to be? Your portfolio is a roadmap for retirement. But, the legacy automakers, it's just a fact, have far more money on hand. And the only thing that Tesla has is first mover advantage. And if you don't think that can get eroded really quick, you're deluding yourself.
Yeah, I mean, right now there's just a lot of clown power behind Tesla. That's why every time there's a dip, you have these hordes of fanboys and probably some institutions too that come in and buy the dip, which is why that stock just will not freaking die, even though it's like collapsed a couple times.
Well, did you see the video I did on that one guy who's like 60 years old and 85% of his portfolio is in Tesla? And then I think it was chick in Singapore, that moron, put out like a price target of $40,000 on Tesla. I'm like, well,
maybe reverse share splits, Jay. Maybe that's what he's talking. They're going to do a bunch of reverse share splits, and that'll automatically increase the price.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just we talk about ad nauseum. It's like, dude, there's just so much speculation. Tesla's going here. Why? Robotaxi, speculation. Not even had robotaxis in 4 years, Kathy Woods. Mark my words.
Isn't it funny if we turn out to be totally wrong and Tesla is like this massive, like $6 trillion company, and meet Kevin is like this mega billionaire from all his Tesla options?
You know what I would do at that point? I went with the knowledge I had on hand. I'm not going to call every stock.
Yeah.
My thing is, we talked about this. I go, the best way to maximize your gains is to not lose money. So if something's too speculative to you, don't put your money in.
That's it.
Word.
Yeah. So, dude, you're a moron. You didn't get on Tesla. Well, you're a moron because you didn't get in on Amazon.
I mean,
you're also a moron because you didn't get in on Apple when they were going through when they were nearly bankrupt in the early 2000s.
I mean, literally all you have to do to like make it seem like you were a genius is you throw a couple thousand into like 10 speculative stocks. And if 9 of them crash and burn, but one goes up 20,000x, you can say, "Oh, look how well I can predict the market. See what happened? This stock went up." And you don't have to show your losers, and everybody thinks you're a freaking genius. That's all you got to do.
Well, John made something like 3,000% on Mara and Riot stock, and
God.
how much I'm kicking myself right now that I don't own it? Not at all. I didn't understand it at the time. I still don't understand why people think crypto is going to be a thing other than blockchain. Naugy, it's about blockchain. Okay, but what is blockchain? This technology? I know, but explain it to me like I'm retarded. Well, there's these blocks in these chains, Tether, and it's the future, bro. So, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't buy it.
Look, I maybe, like I said, maybe we're wrong, and every crypto holder they're all going to be trillionaires, and we're just going to be these broke losers with $1 million in the bank at retirement.
Well, here's the thing. There's money to be made in baseball cards and Pokemon, even though I say it's the greater fool theory. I don't understand that market, so I don't buy those things.
You don't have any Pokemon cards? Did you ever have Pokemon cards? Like a holographic Charizard?
That's way after my time.
Hey, if you guys want to talk about card investing, just let me know. I got a pretty sick portfolio of cards, man.
You got to show it to us.
Do you?
Bookcase?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, so back in when COVID started, basically, so like in March, I was kind of like, I just went on Facebook and I saw a lot of people like posting card collections. So I was like, all right, like I used to collect them as a kid. Let's see if there's like some cards that I wanted as a kid but never could get that I can get for cheap now. So then I just started buying a few. And then basically like the whole card market just went like absolutely berserk like over the next few months. Like it was ridiculous, like especially with like modern era cards. So I bought like, just a couple like basketball and like some football, and like I've sold a lot of them. But yeah, like I made like a couple $1,000s only putting in like $1,000 just based on like buying these things and then seeing them go up. Like it was stupid, man. And they're still like very, like it's kind of come down a lot now, which I think that was kind of like natural because once like COVID ended, people stopped putting their money in, toys basically, and are now using it to travel or whatever. But yeah, it was insane. Like Pokemon, like sports, Magic the Gathering, some like vintage toys as well. Like all these collectible categories were just skyrocketing in value.
It amazes me like what people decide to put their money into, especially if they're given a free check by the government. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a Pokemon card. Like
that's literally what people were doing. Like I was in these Facebook groups and people would post like their stimulus check like hitting their bank, like not their bank number obviously, but just like the line that showed the stimulus check, and it's like, where this is going, guys. Hit me up with what you got.
Yeah, I'm a lame butt. I put my stimulus check in my savings account. I know I'm losing all my money to inflation, but I was like, I'm saving this. I don't know what I'm gonna have to be able to buy in the future.
I bought index funds.
Not a bad choice, Jay. You could buy Charizard, or you could buy every company in the world. You decide what's the investment.
Dude, yeah, it's like I got a guy I was in the Air Force with. He's always posted about sneakers and talking about how they're investments. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't look at those as investments. Like a lot of people will refer to, collectible cards and like comic books, toys, whatever. They refer to them as investments, but you really just have to look at it as like speculation. Like I don't plan on holding, like with those cards that I bought, I didn't plan on holding on them for that long. I was just like, all right, let's see if I can like make a quick flip on this. Like you can't bridge the gap between just short-term speculation and investing, because then you're just going to make stupid mistakes.
If you're super into something and you really understand the market, like a dude that's super into stamps or rare coins, there's nothing wrong. I still wouldn't make that the only place I kept my money. But if you're into it and it's also a hobby and you can make money at it, Yeah, have at it. I mean, great. Like I'm super into stamps. I collect stamps, man.
Yeah.
This one's worth whatever. Like, okay, to you, to me, it's not worth anything.
Yeah, it's just the way these markets kind of work is over the long term, like any type of collectible market, they do not do well. Like they go through cycles where they're just popular once. Like there's no guarantee that 10 years from now, people will still be paying like $400,000 for, a mint condition Charizard, right? But, 10 years from now, people are still like, corporate profits will be higher, the economy's going to be bigger, and stocks will likely be worth more than they are today.
Well, John gets mad at me because I keep saying to him when he's talking about crypto, I go, here's the question you have to ask. Does it produce cash flow? And he's like, no. I'm like, yeah, speculation then. It's not an investment.
It's really easy. It's really not that hard, ladies and gentlemen. If it spits cash at you, it's an investment. If it doesn't, it's not an investment.
Well, dude, anybody who's if you're super into the Pokemon thing, it's cool. That's you. Everybody's got their own stupid. I have my own stupid.
Like 5 years old. No.
Yeah, I have my own stupid. I bought a baby Yoda that's behind me, but
10x.
I've
10x
seen
Yoda, bro.
Yeah, 10x Grogu. Grogu's gonna 10x over, but made by a Chinese slave. But I've seen the baseball card market before, the late '90s. I've been here before. And that's why I just tell people, like, you're already seeing the bubbles coming out of. I think the bubble's going to come out of a lot of stupid shit. Because it was just blown up from the pandemic.
I'm actually a really bad market timer. That's why even if there is a quick buck to be made, I'm too scared to speculate because I'll probably buy in at the wrong freaking time and then lose all my money. All right, let's do some comments real quick. Tell us the secret of your strongman. I am very attracted to Jay Naugy. I bought okay, this is what I guess Meet Tesla told him to buy. Churchill at 30, SPAC, Tesla at 800. Ouch. XPI. What is XP? What is EXPI? Has anybody heard of that?
Oh, that's not the Chinese EV company, is it? I don't know.
Is it like Xpeng or something like that? I need to look. I don't know what EXPI is. I need to look that up. Maybe I'll do a video dumping on it because it's probably trash if me, Kevin, recommended it.
166 PE ratio, 23 cents in earnings per share.
Well, what kind of company is it?
I'm just looking at the financials. Just give me a second. I want to see if there's share dilution.
Let me guess. There is.
Yeah, there is. And, cash flows are increasing. And I will play the contrarian thing here. There is some things that I see where people are like, they told me I bought in January. They told me to buy, and now it's down. Well, the markets do that. Although, I wouldn't put my money in any of those companies.
Yeah, you do have to be patient. Like I bought into Baba. My cost basis is like 225, 230. So now, it's been down for months and months and months, but
I'm still underwater. I'm still underwater on Baba by a couple $100.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the long run, okay, it's down the last 6 months. Who gives a crap? You're thinking 10 years out, but
yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Okay, where's this company going to be in 10 years? Like, I don't think it's going to go under. I think the odds of that are very low because it's basically a cash printing machine. So do I think it'll be higher in 2030? Now the question is, could I get a better return with that money somewhere else? Maybe, but I think this is a pretty safe play.
It's like the only stock I like right now.
Yeah, as long as you have like the cash flows to back up an investment, then your downside can only be so much, right? Because it's not going to fall below a level where, it gets so low where it's just so insanely cheap because then people are going to eventually buy it, right? That's the thing about buying like an actual company that's producing cash flow versus one that's losing money. If it goes down 50%, there's no cash flow to support that investment.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So it's like, It's really difficult for a company to go under if they're just making cash hand over fist.
And their cash flow is growing every year. It's just like you never know with China. That could be completely fraudulent, but every year it's just like more and more and more and more.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was going to throw out about this is like I was looking at like people talking about NIO, and I go, I actually kind of trust the accounting with Baba. With NIO, I don't trust the accounting at all. Not at all.
That's the thing about these like Chinese EV companies is suddenly all the risks of like investing in Chinese companies just don't exist if it's like NIO or that other one. Like I can't remember what it's called, but there's another like Chinese electric company that everyone's pumping.
Look, it's EV buy. That's all you got to know, bro. EV buy.
Well, I'm just waiting for Meet Kevin and Jeremy to make their own ETF.
Oh God, I'd probably buy that just to ride the wave of clowns that buy it. Probably be like a penny stock ETF.
Dude, I so like want to do a green screen where I put Meet Kevin's background in here.
If I go after you at that point, you're stealing from his amazing brand.
And then we're
doing a live stream right now.
Wear like a stupid clip-on bow tie like that other dude.
Oh, Keenan Grace. Yeah. It's just the trashiest companies. Can you hear your thoughts on Graham Stephan? I like him. I've talked about him in a couple of videos. So I really have nothing against him, which is why I don't dump on him.
Yeah, Graham Stephan's solid, man. And like I can tell that when I watch his videos, just some of the reactions he has to those other clowns. I don't think Andre Geek is bad either. I think he's dumb for putting his money in crypto, but now he's doing what we talk about. He did a video on it. Why my money is now in the total stock market. Yeah, like we've been saying since we started doing this.
Hey, it's because he watched one of your videos, bro. He changed his life.
But like the looks that Graham Stephan gives, like when the Dogecoin millionaire was talking about, it's just like it looks just a look of defeat. Like he's like, I can't believe I'm talking to this moron.
Like I will never be as big as Graham because I can't stand talking to stupid people like that. Like I wouldn't be able to go and sit down with him and have a chat because he would just piss me off. I'd probably like slap his mic off the table and storm out.
I'd probably be like, you have two choices before you walk out of this room. You either sell all that Doge and you put it in the total world stock market, or you just disappear. I can't have you out there polluting the investing environment like that.
Well, now he's selling merchandise. He's got his like hoodies he's coming out with. Like, maybe I'll buy one of his hoodies.
How do we live stream bomb Kevin?
Well, I mean, we probably have to pay to comment. I guarantee you, probably $10,000 to get like one letter. So I'm not paying him. Intel. I mean, honestly, I haven't really looked at Intel. I don't know if you guys have looked at Intel.
Yeah, I know Paul really likes Intel from everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, check out Everything Money's Intel video.
It's better.
And that's why we're legit. We send you to places if we don't know. Like, hey, Sven Carlin did a video on this. He really likes Intel.
Maybe one day in the distant future, I'll look at Intel, but there's like, 3,000 stocks?
No, yeah, dude, it looks like I checked out its intrinsic value. It's trading below its intrinsic value.
So you're saying I should yellow all my money into it?
No.
Meet Kevin. Meet. I love that.
I love how it's Meet Kevin now.
Oh, this is an interesting question. What would you guys do?
I'd buy Tulip Coin.
Oh, Groin Coin.
Groin Coin. South Sea Coin. Bicycle Coin.
South Sea is my baby, man. That's going to be the next 10x. No, but in all honesty, I'd probably buy like Bitcoin. That's the most well-known coin. So if I
if I'm forced into this, but I go back to governments are not going to allow a competing currency, even though crypto isn't a currency anyways, because people talk about it. They're like, well, it's a store of value. Okay, so it's going to go up in value over time. Yeah. Okay, but then it's not a currency because I can't pay off my mortgage with it.
I mean, if it widely fluctuates, I mean, it's not a store of value. It's like getting paid, and then you go to the store 2 minutes later, and then it's dropped in purchasing power by 30%. That's stupid. Like, imagine that happened to your Canadian currency or the US dollar. It'd be like, come on, bro. I thought I had enough money to buy a steak, and now I can only buy like one egg because when I drove to the store, there was a sell-off because of Elon Musk. Like, it's so stupid that people think that it's actually a currency.
It's gonna end badly. I mean, I'm gonna try and call the future. In another year, you're gonna see in the headlines this: the cartels and child molesters are using cryptocurrencies to pay for stuff on the dark web. So we need to eradicate them.
Yeah, like that's all. Like, I'd be interested to know like the stats on this. Like, I don't understand. I don't know how you would get them, but like to know the stats on Bitcoin, for example, how much of it is used for just people speculating on it and like crime, basically. And then you take into account like the energy that is required to maintain the blockchain of Bitcoin and how high that is. Like, I don't understand how like any government would look at that and just kind of allow it, right? Like, there's no good purpose that Bitcoin has other than the fact that there's like trillions, or I don't know if it's trillions anymore, just hundreds of billions of like people's wealth tied into Bitcoins, right? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like why would you allow this thing to exist that has a horrible impact on the environment and is just being used for speculation and crime.
And that's another great point that you just brought up. Like, everybody's on this, the climate change thing. Well, I mean, these cryptos are drawing a ridiculous amount of electricity. So, I don't look, if it's this or getting locked in a cage in Epstein, I mean, probably Bitcoin or Ethereum. But I mean, on my own, I bought Doge as a joke. I think I made $20 on it.
$20, Jay! Round of applause, everybody! Round of applause. We're proud of you.
Yeah, have you guys heard of Tether?
John was trying to explain that to me last night, and my caveman brain couldn't comprehend it.
So, like,
isn't it just like a stable coin where it kind of like
you
exchange it for $1 or something like that?
Yeah, but basically, so I don't know if you guys have heard of this YouTuber by the name of CoffeeZilla. He's pretty big.
Oh, I love that dude.
Yeah, I just subscribed to him. He's pretty good.
Yeah, so he did like a pretty long video on Tether. It's like 40 minutes long, but basically one of the main things in it was, so like it's supposed to be audited, right? Like if they're supposed to have like an annual audit where they say, okay, yes, each Tether is backed by $1 because that's the whole point of Tether, right? Like it's a stable coin. But then basically they couldn't get an actual audit for it because like the people who are operating Tether said they want it to be too detailed in their audit, which, all right. So then they got a attestation engagement, which is just like you basically look in the bank account and say like, okay, yes, the money's there. And apparently all Tether did was transfer money into a bank account the day before the attestation. And then they just checked the box, said, yes, the money's there. And that was it. And then throughout time, their website has changed where they say like what Tether's actually backed by. And it went from being backed 1-to-1 by USD to now only about 5% of it or something is backed by USD, and majority of it is backed by unsecured debt, other, stocks, bonds, whatever. And some of it's backed by like other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, dude, it's probably like the scam of the century.
Well,
like I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a massive, massive crash in cryptos and people are just going to be annihilated because there's so much sketchiness, man.
Didn't Titan coin go from like $60 to $0?
Yeah, that's the Mark Cuban one, right?
Yeah, and he's out there and he goes, guys, I lost money too. Like, you're a billionaire, you prick. Like this guy who thought he was investing $1,000 or whatever, that's a lot of money to him.
That's why you can't even listen to billionaire, because like even if they're a billionaire, that doesn't mean they know everything about every asset. Like they can be completely idiotic in what they invest in.
Yeah, celebrity endorsement of any type of financial asset like means absolutely nothing in the long run. Like I was doing like research for like a video I made a while ago about like companies that went bust during the internet bubble. And I found one which was like a digital kind of online currency that was endorsed by some celebrity and it no longer exists. And like all these internet companies had like some type of, or not all of them, but like a lot of them had some type of celebrity endorsement. And you see the same thing with cryptocurrency now, because like if you make a cryptocurrency, you need it to become popular because then the value goes up. So then you hire someone famous to talk about it.
Like
but
Kim
it means nothing in the long.
I wonder how much they paid Kim Kardashian for that tweet or whatever it was, the Instagram post. Because like I looked at the market cap of that coin, it was only 165 million. So they must have paid like a significant portion of the coin's market cap just to have Kim Kardashian do an Instagram post.
Dude, if I won like $100 million tomorrow, I would do Tulip Coin, but do like the weirdest commercial for it ever. Like it's just like where it's just like culty. Like you got like monks chanting about Tulip Coin. Like I would just make the most ridiculous internet commercial for it ever when people started contacting me. And how do I get Tulip Coin? Oh, you got to go on Coinbase, man.
It's a #1 coin, VIP access. All right, so I actually have to close. I mean, you guys can keep talking if you want. I actually have to head down for like 10 minutes. Do you guys want to keep talking or do you want to close it out?
I'll keep going. It's up to you.
All right, yeah, okay, you guys keep going, and I'll be back shortly.
The only thing is we can't read any comments.
All right, let's get through the comments real quick, and then I'll head down, and then I'll come back up in like 10 minutes.
All right.
All right, so me, Kevin sells overpriced courses. Yeah, pretty predictable. He's an idiot. Right now, his live stream, he's pumping up Tesla course.
Dude, this I cannot stress it enough. This guy needs to be put in the stockade where hookers spit in his face and we throw rotten cabbage at him every day.
Jesus.
And then the people that lose money after this whole bubble goes sideways get to kick him in the ass.
I think I can hear a helicopter over your house, Jay. I think the government's coming for you. You threatened a future president, bro. Thoughts on putting child tax credits in a 529? I mean, if you want to make sure you're at least investing for your future before you do it for your child. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but all my savings is going into my Roth and my 401k, and I'm putting like $50 a month into my kids. So you want to take care of yourself first, because what's the saying? You can't take out debt for retirement, but your kids can take out debt for college.
Yeah, and if you've instilled the right values in him, he's not going to take out a lot of debt anyways.
Yeah, or send him to community college. But I mean,
that's what I would explain to him. Look, you go 2 years at the community. I went to 2 years at community college on the GI Bill just to get back into college shape.
Or just teach him how to be a financial YouTuber.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I can give them the exact stocks they can talk about to grow their channel to 1 million subs in like 5 days. It's super easy. Strongman, what is your max bench press? 800 pounds. No, it's like I haven't actually benched in a while. I have an arm injury, probably like 15.
Dude, this is off the subject of investing, but like that one professional weightlifter, Laurel Hubbard, who's a trans woman competing in the Tokyo Olympics, and she was competing as a man in powerlifting just in 2013. So I went ahead and looked up like the records for women, and like I'm a physically unexceptional male, and when I looked at the 97 kilogram, so 212 pound women, like I blew them out of the water by like a ridiculous margin.
All right, I'm gonna head down, but if you guys want to keep talking, I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, man.
All right, chat away, boys.
Yeah, dude. So, like, why do you use enterprise value versus discounted cash flow?
So
I don't know how to. I learned how to do discounted cash flow in college, and it took me a while to remember, but I never learned enterprise value. Or if I did, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, so I'm going to start using – so like the companies I did, they were kind of like pretty – like not young, but smaller tech companies that didn't have that much cash flow and that much profit. So like I used enterprise value just because it's super easy to project and it's super easy to just talk about, right? You just go, okay, what's revenue? What's the EBITDA margin? What's a multiple? and then just like a few other calculations, and you get like a market cap. But like you should use, if you can, you should use cash flow. I just find it hard to do that if you don't have a long, stable like cash flow history of a company. Which the companies I was doing, like they were super, like they're all these like basically the big like Shopify, for example. They're basically like the Canadian Tesla. Like people in Canada will still buy Tesla, but Shopify, so they've like they're like the biggest company in Canada. I don't know if they still are, but they were like a few weeks ago. So they're bigger than like, you know, the largest banks at Canada, which in Canada, like the largest companies have pretty much always been like financial companies and like some kind of oil companies, because like there's pretty big oil reserves in Canada and Alberta. But yeah, so like focusing on those companies, they don't have a whole lot of cash flow, so it's hard to do a DCF.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, because I looked at Shopify at one point, and I looked at the PE ratio, and I said, I'm out.
Yeah, it's really high, but the thing is, like, it's a like amazing company. Like my cousin works there, so I've heard a bit about it. It's like it generates a ton of money, man. Like it has huge margins, but the thing is, like, there's just so much like future earnings priced in already. Like it's incredible because 109, it's like 190, 200 billion or something, and they just hit like I think $1 billion in profit or something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I almost bought some Shopify stock back in 2019.
Yeah, that would have been a good buy.
Well, I would have sold out of it by now. I would have taken profits. I would have been like, this thing's. It's like even if I bought Amazon at 1,500 right now, I'd sell out of Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, because you have to stick to your principles, right? Like if a company gets a bit overpriced, but I know something that what's his name? Peter Lynch says is he's like selling off your winning stocks is like, and then like using them to buy others is like watering your weeds and cutting your plants.
Where is it? I'm reading One Up on Wall Street right now.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about getting that. Is it a good book?
Yeah, it's really good. Like there's a lot of and this is why I keep going more and more to your circle of competence, because he keeps stressing that. And he's like, a dentist is going to have a good idea of the new products out on the market, whereas, you know, I'm not going to know these things. So he can get in on the ground floor, and that's more and more. I'm of the opinion, like Sven Carlin, in order to get 100 bagger, why don't you just accept a bunch of 3 to 5 to 10 baggers? Eventually you hit that 100 bagger. And if you're then turning around and taking your money and you're putting it into low cost index funds afterwards, there's almost zero downside as long as you're doing your homework.
Yeah. That's like the circle of competence thing is a big thing because like I know he points out to a ton of examples about it, but it makes so much sense, right? Like he says, if you work in the restaurant business, then like that's your day-to-day life. You're going to be aware of everything that's going on in the restaurant business, right? Like who the new entrants are, you know, like suppliers in that industry, and just general trends, right? So you have a pretty intimate knowledge of that, and you can use that to your advantage. Like I saw this really cool video recently where this guy basically compared Google, I think it was Google, to Domino's, and apparently they IPO'd in the same year. And if you invested in Domino's at their IPO versus Google at their IPO, you would have done better in Domino's, which is pretty crazy. So there's all these, because everyone kind of works in like different industries, right? Like even if you just have like a super basic job, you're still aware of some things that are going on in the world through your job that you can use to your advantage.
And you have insider knowledge. If you're a teenager and you're working there, right, and you're talking to your boss, and your boss is like, dude, this Domino's is going crazy. We're franchising out everywhere. And you're like, okay, well, I know the pizza business. Maybe I should throw a little bit of money at this. Because it's like this, like, how do I beat the market? Well, just set most of your returns at the market. And then you really don't have to get that much to move the needle on your returns. But I mean, the people that think that they're just going to buy a whole bunch of stocks in a year and they're going to get 25% returns for life, I've argued with a few people on my channel about that. I'm like, okay, dude, do you even have a basic process for figuring out what stocks you're going to buy? No, just watching YouTube videos. Okay. You're probably not going to get a 25% return.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you have to have some type of process, because if you don't, you're kind of just buying based on gut feel, or, because like everyone made money this past year, right? Like I made like 30% just buying like Canadian blue chips, index funds, and REITs. Like it's not hard. But yeah, like just stick within your circle of competence, and especially if you're picking individual companies. Like me personally, I would never, like I'm like trying to learn a bit about software companies as I kind of create these videos and learn a bit about the business model. It's not a super complicated business model really for software as a service, right? It's like annual subscriptions with like some other different types of revenue sprinkled in. Like it's not super complicated. But then there's some businesses that they have so many different things going on. They're in a ton of different industries. It's like you can't really compare one company to another if like one company is operating in like 5 industries, another company is operating in 5 industries, but only one of those industries intersects. You can't really compare them. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if you know a lot about the sector, you're good to go. But it's like I have people telling me at work, well, I'm going to buy Zoom stock. Okay, why? Well, because, it's Zoom stock. I'm like, okay, but did you know that like Microsoft and Apple are coming out with their own application to compete with it? And which one do you think is going to do better?
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. Like Zoom could be like we could be talking about Zoom like 5 years from now and saying they have a moat, right? Because it started during COVID, everyone just got used to it then. And now like Zoom becomes like an adjective, right? Like when you say, "Oh, let me Google something," it could be now like, "Oh, let's, do a Zoom," or something like that. And you're talking about how, like that's pretty much how you know a company has a moat, but you just don't know because like there's so many different companies that, like, the crazy thing to me to think about is how there's a company that hasn't like been started yet, but 40 years from now will probably be worth like $1 trillion.
You saw, did you get that from Everything Money? Paul talked about Bill Gates' book where he said, when Microsoft was the biggest company in the world, he goes, I don't know who will be the biggest company in the world in 30 years is a company that hasn't even IPO'd yet.
Yeah.
That's what he said about that. That's why it just made me think. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he's right. When Bill Gates wrote that book, well, I think Apple's the biggest company in the world, but I think Amazon's nipping at its heels. But Amazon wasn't even a thing then.
Yeah, and they were super niche for a while. Like they started off just selling books, right? Like everyone kind of knows the story of Amazon, right? So there's so many companies now that are just in like one niche market. Like think of Netflix, right? Like I think Netflix was like the best performing company of like the last decade or something like that.
When I knew nothing about investing, I was thinking about like buying Netflix stock. Like I didn't know anything about investing. So these would have been my picks, right? In about 2004, or right about when Netflix went public. I was thinking about putting like a whole bunch of money in Apple and Netflix. Do you know how much money I would have today, dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
so one thing I did like a while ago is, so there's like those stock simulators, right? So when I was like in, like they just simulate the market. So when I was in high school and I was trying to learn about this stuff, I created one and I just kind of put some money in like random things. And I've looked at, like how it's done over the years, and you're given like $1 million. So what I invested in was Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Align Technology, some like utility companies. I invested in Shopify, like this was like fairly recently, and then Salesforce and Etsy. And some of these companies are up like 300%. And I'm like, well, I didn't do any research there. I just kind of bought like whatever company, I thought was just in my head at the time. But like even a lot of these companies, like if you just hold on to any company long enough that's decent, like you'll do pretty well over the long term.
Yeah, I think it's like Bank of America, when I was reading, said that you would have gotten about the returns of the S&P 500 holding Bank of America. And
yeah, which is like double your money over 7 years, right?
well, if you would have bought, I think Bank of America, I'd have to go back and look, but I think Warren Buffett, and it could be just because he's Warren Buffett, was buying Bank of America for $2 a share after the 2008 crash. So, I mean, you're talking about a 20 bagger in a safe company. Can't, so it's like they're out there. It's just the problem is you and I work. So how many stonks can we look at?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, and that's why staying within your circle of competence is good. So like for me, I'm going to work in banking, right? So like I'll be doing a lot of different stuff. I'm going to be doing like internal audit, finance, and then working for like just they have like this accounting office where they deal with like some mergers they do there and stuff. So I'm going to learn a lot about different aspects of like the banking sector. So I want to like use that, and not like only for investing, but if we're talking about like, some company comes out with like an alternative type of savings account, right? Then I can use my circle of competence and kind of evaluate it based on that and say like, okay, do I think this is something that could potentially catch on and like a lot of people would like, or is it just like some crappy thing that someone's pumping out there?
Well, dude, you're starting so young. And like we did the thing last time where like $6,000 in a Roth IRA at 65 would be like what, 1.5 million?
Yeah.
Dude, if you just crush it, dude, you'll be done working by the time you're in your mid 40s, early 50s. My buddy Nate, he's the same way, dude. That dude is 21 years old and he's got like 22K right now, mostly in index funds.
Yeah, I mean, like if you start working early, like I was always working like when I was in school, right? Like I did internships. That's how I paid for school and like how I didn't have to get debt. Like I was working when I was like doing school, just like just doing part-time work on my school. I was like teaching accounting software to people. And then when I did the internships, I lived with my parents at the time. So I was saving a ton of money. I couldn't invest my money, but I didn't graduate with debt, right? Which is pretty good. And then I'm going to start working and I'll be able to invest.
Yeah, man. It's just like, it's just time's the most important thing. He's brought the youngling.
Yeah, he's fussing. You guys can keep talking. I'll jump in when I can.
Why's he fussing?
So all babies do is eat, crap, and sleep. So if he's crying, it's probably because either crapped his pants or he's hungry.
That sounds like a pretty good life to me.
That would be a very fulfilling life. You just lay around and crap your pants and
somebody else changes me and feeds me. Like, nah, dude, I'm not feeling that right now. I want crab legs. Go make me crab legs.
Oh, I just crapped my diaper. Jay, can you change it, please?
Dude, there's like dudes that are like adults that are into that.
Like crapping in their own diapers, like adult diapers.
Yeah, like being like a baby. I'm like, come on.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But no, we were just talking about how he's in such a good position because he started so young.
Who, investing sucks?
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I started when I was 21, and as long as you save consistently, you're going to have a lot of freaking money by the time you enter your 30s.
Well, dude, it was like when Nate was on here and he starts talking about how he's 21 years old, he's in ROTC, going to school, he's going into the military as an officer, and he's going in there with like 22K, which is probably more. But, huh?
He's set, especially if he's smart with his money. And on top of that, like if you're an officer, you can max your TSP. There's no excuse, especially if you have like roommates and you're a single guy. So, I mean, if you're making a lot of money when you're young, just take the sacrifice and save your money, and it'll pay huge dividends 5 years down the road. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, dude. That's the one thing. It's like, now I wish I could go back in time. Listen, asshole, I'll make you a millionaire.
It's not hard, bro. You just buy VT.
Any comments?
Oh yeah, let me see if there's any comments. No way. Yes, I'm back. Nathan, I want to join after my set. What time is your set end? I'm not waiting till 2 a.m.
I don't know if we're going to be still going because we usually do about 2 hours.
Yeah. We're probably gonna be done before we can get on. What about this new book, Jay? Have you bought this one yet?
crap your way to retirement. Yeah, I'm interested, man. As soon as I finish One Up on Wall Street.
Written by Strong Boy Personal Finance.
Strong Boy Personal Finance. Yeah, like I said, when Kevin's fans assassinate me, my son's gonna take over my my YouTube business.
Dude, he's gonna be like Boss Baby.
Boss Baby, yeah. Yeah, he can already talk and stuff. He wears a bow tie. Strong man, what's your favorite food for dinner? Whatever is most easy to make. I like convenience. Mostly chicken, though.
Just frozen dinners.
Frozen dinners. Oh no, not tattooed chef. I only eat tattooed chef.
Oh, dude. I looked up the market for vegan. Vegans make up 8% of the population.
Yeah, and there's other companies getting into that space. Like it's not just freaking tattooed chef.
But dude, I was laughing because that's exactly how I feel about that vegan food. I'm like, I would have to eat 8 of those bowls just to be full for like a couple hours.
Yeah, like that's a very niche product that I don't know if anybody knows the context. There's a company that Jeremy Lefebvre pumps called Tattooed Chef, and I think it's trash, but they sell a bunch of like vegan plant-based products. And if you're an average man and you eat that stuff, you're going to be freaking starving when you're done. You're going to have to eat like 3 of those.
Well, Sven Carlin did a thing on Beyond Meat, and he is a vegan, and he said he wouldn't eat that food.
He what?
Sven Carlin said he wouldn't eat that vegan food. And he is a vegan. This is a vegan saying
frozen trash. I mean,
well, here's what people don't understand. I don't think about like the Beyond Meat stuff. Most of that is with soy oils. So it's like it's not good for you. They're like, oh, well, red meat's bad for you. No, it's not.
When I think about like our ancient ancestors, they probably just hunted like, elephants or whatever, and that's what they ate. So I don't think it's that bad for you. But what do I know? I'm an investor, not a science guy. But what I do know is that if I bought Tattooed Chef food, I'd be freaking starving. I have to buy like 10 meals.
Dude, like I see you a month from now, you're just skinny and gaunt, and you're like, what? I'm like, what happened, man? You're like, dude, I've been just eating nothing but Tattooed Chef.
Dude, if you buy Tattooed Chef stock, you're going to be starving, man.
Are you looking at it right now?
So I think this is another SPAC because it's like it was flat for a while at around $10. And then it's just like super volatile from like mid 2020 on.
Yeah, I whenever Jeremy started talking about it, probably got volatile because he could probably move that stock a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of these guys are going to end up getting in trouble. Like Planet,
there's no way they can't, man. Like they were giving specific investment recommendations. I mean, and they're a lot of them are giving like buy and sell signals on their discourse. If you're telling people exactly when to buy, I mean that's straight up financial advice right there.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would just say to people, if like you're asking me for a stock tip, I'm not giving you one. I'll tell you if I'm buying it, but because I would honestly feel terrible if somebody if I made a projection and I was off and there was something that I couldn't see, I would feel awful, man. If someone's like, dude, I dumped 10 grand into that, and I'm like, I know I lost money too.
I think people are crazy to make even short-term like stock predictions because you have no idea what's going to happen. So you got to be a person to be
short-term. Short-term is crazier than long-term.
Oh yeah, short-term, you cannot predict short-term. A lot of people think you can, like if you're a genius, but you can't freaking do it because there's millions of people interacting. Jesus, there's millions of people interacting in a market. You don't know what they're going to do. You just can't predict that.
Well, there could be some sort of scandal in Amazon and it drops to $700 tomorrow, in which case I would be buying it.
Yeah, you know the stock I'm going to buy is when Warren Buffett dies, Berkshire Hathaway. Going all in.
Dude, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, when Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger dies, I am going balls deep on Berkshire Hathaway. After I watch that stock plummet, I'm going to be like, all right, this is juicy.
This is
they've been like planning their successor for a while, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like there's some guy they're going to have replace them.
Yeah, they've carefully groomed this guy, and he's a guy, I think, in his 50s. So he's got a good amount of time with the company. And they hire people who are satisfied with making a good salary, but not selfish. And they want Berkshire Hathaway to last. So that's why they've made some mistakes, but if you pick stocks, you're going to make mistakes anyways.
So you're telling me Stockmo is going to be taking over Berkshire Hathaway?
Stockmo.
Stockmo.
Yeah, I don't know if I dislike him or meet Kevin more.
Dude, Stockmo blows my mind. I just don't understand how this guy like has as many subscribers as he does, because like I don't really watch other like YouTube videos for finance except for like a select few channels. Like I'll watch some of Sven Carlin, I'll watch Everything Money, and then a few others. But like I watch his videos and he's just like sitting there just like rambling on and like stuttering about just like random stuff. I'm like I just don't get the appeal to it, you know?
His Tesla cat.
I thought it was the Nio cat, or is that something else?
Maybe it's a Nio cat. I don't know. This guy's a moron.
Yeah, well, he has no charisma. Like that's what shocks me. Is I mean, I can see if you're funny and entertaining, people will subscribe to you. But I mean, the guy just has nothing. I don't understand.
You're doing YOLO. I can see if he's doing YOLO videos, making fun of other YouTubers. But no, yeah. Stockmo is so bad because he's talking about how he taught financials to people and he's passionate about it. And I'm like, if you taught this stuff, you would be doing DCFs and like going through the 10K, running basic metrics. Like, what's his PEG ratio, P ratio, all of those, price to book. Okay, they're all good. Good. Now it's time to look at it. Free cash flow is increasing. Cool. No share dilution. Okay, now let's look in the 10K and look at the risks. But no, he's just, I think Tesla's going to the moon because I kind of want to suck on Elon Musk's toes and smell his hair. So Tesla's probably going to $40,000 a share.
Yeah, I mean, there's no his only analysis I've noticed. He pulls up like newspaper art or like internet articles, which is not due diligence. He's like, oh, analysts said this about Tesla, or he'll find the one analyst that has a crazy price prediction, and that's how he freaking pushes the stocks on the people.
Let me tell you how much analysts know. They're saying Tesla's near fair valuation.
Yeah, maybe in like 100 years.
But yeah, so I mean, they're not going to make crazy predictions because they go against the market, because then that's their job. And Stockmo just made your kid cry.
Yeah, Stockmo, you're terrible. How could
Stockmo making babies cry with his financial advice?
Hey, you know, I was just looking up who the Berkshire Hathaway like successor is going to be, and it's this Canadian guy.
So you're going to be running it?
Yeah, it's me, man.
No, is it really a Canadian dude?
Yeah, well, it says Canadian businessman and chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Energy. And then it said... I can't find where it said. But yeah, man, you know, we know what we're doing up here in Canada.
Oh, I don't doubt it. You guys are instituting crazy gun laws, though.
Oh yeah, so my uncle, he's like he's like former, like he used to live in the U.S. He has like quite a lot of guns, and he was pretty mad about that because like I don't know if it actually ended up happening, but apparently I don't know what the term is, but it's when the government like buys your guns from you and like forces you to sell them.
Yeah, it's called confiscation, and it's theft because when the government says we're going to do a gun buyback program, that's literally like me saying I'm going to buy you lunch. And then we go there and I take your wallet and then I take $20 out and I pay for your lunch. And I'm like, there, I paid for your lunch.
Yeah. There's a lot of, because there's something that happened where there was like some like shooting in Nova Scotia. So then the Canadian government got scared, and we're still in lockdown, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Dude, you're still in lockdown?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm Florida-ing right now. Like that means I walk around with no mask on. You know, I walk into
I know. I was so like I'm a big hockey fan, obviously, because I'm from Canada, and so the Tampa Bay Lightning are in the finals again this year, and like we're looking, and it's going to be weird seeing the contrast between a Stanley Cup final game in Tampa versus one in Montreal, which is who they're facing, because Montreal only allows about 3,000 people in. I think they might increase it because it's the Stanley Cup final, but Tampa was just like a full, like a full stadium, right? Whereas Montreal, like it sounded full, but like earlier on in like the first Montreal series when they were playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, like there weren't any fans. And then like these US teams had like full people in there. Like, I don't know, like I guess the Canadian government is just scared to open up anything. Like gyms haven't been open since like late 2020. Haircut places haven't been open since like in like 4 months now. Like I had to get like my hair buzzed because it was getting too long.
Yeah.
Which I haven't done in like years.
I haven't sorry, I think this is Nate. He probably wants to come in, but we're only going to do a couple more minutes anyways, probably.
Too late, buddy, yo.
Dude, there's this guy who around here who's not very popular in the stand-up community. His name's Steve Bix, and he's a joke thief, and he's been banned from a bunch of places, and Nate just told me he was going up. But I don't understand how the government expects businesses to survive. Like I don't get it. Like
aren't they printing money and paying the businesses?
Yeah, they're just giving them a bunch of bailout money. I mean, I don't know the specifics of it. I know earlier on they were giving out tons of like kind of like interest-free small business loans, and then they're probably giving some handouts as well. But yeah, I mean, like it's annoying to see because like of course all the businesses that are open is like Walmart, Costco, and then everyone's ordering from Amazon, and then you have all these small businesses which are supposedly the backbone of the Canadian economy, that have been forced to shut down for pretty much an entire year in like the last 16 months.
Yeah, that's incredible to me. You know, and is it like a provincial thing or is like the entire country locked down?
Well, it like differs between provinces, but for the most part, it's the entire country. Like I think some provinces are recently opening. Ontario's the worst because like, especially where I live pretty close to Toronto, and that's been like one of the worst hot spots. Like Toronto and Quebec were pretty bad. Of course, like Toronto's like super populous, so that's one of the reasons. And actually, where I went to school was like one of the worst places, like this town called Waterloo.
Oh, yep. I was there. I was there for a Beastie Boys concert. I drove through their Beastie Boys concert in '97.
Oh, Waterloo, Ontario?
Yep. Dude, I couldn't believe how cold it was in August at night. It was like 45 degrees. And I'm like, I cannot believe how in 4 hours I can be back around Rochester and the temperature is such a difference.
Dude, anyone who complains in the US about cold weather does not know what they're talking about. Like
that's I would be a crybaby if I lived in Canada.
Dude, I've played basketball in like snow before, just because it was like the best weather that we had seen in like months.
Were there icicles hanging off the rim?
Yeah, I mean that's like if you want to foul someone in basketball, you just grab an icicle and hit them with it.
Well, Okay, I get it. I get you've mastered the cold, but understand when you're in Rochester, when the winter breaks a bit, you shovel the driveway and you play ball. You're out there at night in shorts and like a long t-shirt, and it's 40 degrees, and you're playing basketball.
Look at all this cold flexing, man. Yeah, I can take the cold. You know what I do? I'm gonna move to Florida. I'm not gonna give a crap about the cold. You guys can flex all your cold credentials all you want.
Dude, why do you think I moved to Florida? I come out of my house when I'm going to community college. There's 3 feet of snow on the ground. And I'm like, I have options. Why am I here? It's -20 with the wind chill. This sucks. I'm leaving. I applied to 2 colleges, University of South Florida and Austin. And I got in here, so I came down here.
Makes sense. Anyway, guys, all right, let's hit the last comments, and then I'm going to close out because Daddy had to birth the baby.
Bambino.
This is supposed to be a Meet Kevin bash fest. I mean, I think we bashed him sufficiently, wouldn't you say, guys?
The Meet Kevin, MEAT Kevin was sufficient.
Yeah, I think we got him good, but next time we'll dedicate 2 whole hours to crapping on Meet Kevin. What's for dinner? Leftover roast. How did our despots? How did our ancestors survive without insure? What is insure?
Oh, it's like that
drink. Old people drink.
Oh,
it's for
people died. I don't think they lived that long.
Yeah, it's for people so old that I don't even drink it yet.
Oh, this next comment's good. I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah, dude, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. You're never going to 20x your money, bro. I'm sorry they don't offer AMC and ATOS therapeutics in your 401k. You're just going to be a broke loser, man.
Unfortunately for you, you're going to have to embrace the Boglehead style of investing in dollar cost averaging.
You're going to have to be boring like me and just buy total world stock market or target retirement funds. Are you fellas pro guns or what? What? So before Jay launches into a monologue, yes, we all like I don't know if Eric likes guns, but we're on a short time frame. Stock Mo's worse. He should know preach better for his age. He's probably like 1,000 years old. He's probably like a vampire. You know, he's been sucking on the blood of babies.
Well, he made your kid cry.
I know, that heartless animal.
Dude, your kid came out like with an epigenetic ability to know good investment advice, and as soon as Stockmo's name was mentioned, he started.
I'm gonna show him this video in 18 years, and he'll understand. Me, Kevin has been live streaming for more than an hour. Yeah, I mean, you got to pump the stocks you're invested in so that everybody else buys them. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that guy sucks. I want to go to one of his appearances and tell him he sucks. You're
gonna get beaten to death by his fans. You need to be careful.
Dude, his fans are probably mostly vegans. Even in my diminished capacity, I'm estimating because of the power of red meat, I can fend off at least 100 vegans. They don't have any energy, dude. Like when I start running, they're not going to pursue. They're going to be like, I don't have any energy to pursue them because of their low protein diet.
You know, his fans are probably the only reason Tattooed Chef has any revenues at all. I wish your family the best life. I will never forget you, Turner Harker. You're my hero. All right, well, to close this out, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to my buddies. And if you haven't subscribed to me, do that as well. I need that hot YouTube money so I can yell.
You need to go out and buy yourself this book.
If you're a broke loser, which you all are, you need to buy that book, Stop Being a Broke Loser, and you'll magically not be a loser anymore.
That's what I'm shilling. I'll tell you guys my thoughts when I finish. I'm going to do a book report on One Up on Wall Street.
Sounds good. Any last comments, ladies and gentlemen? Jay, anything?
No.
Eric?
That's it, man.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful night. Get some good rest because I know I won't. And we'll see y'all next week.
All right. See you, man.
Bye.